Deputy President William Ruto has assured the private sector that the Kenya Kwanza Alliance is committed to ensuring the country holds peaceful elections. He said they will respect the outcome of the election unconditionally for the prosperity of the country. The Deputy President spoke today during a consultative meeting with the private sector representatives in Nairobi, where the Kenya Private Sector Alliance hosted the Kenya Kwanza Alliance for a bipartisan economic dialogue. Ruto added that if he wins as president, his government will pay special attention to SMEs and their access to credit and markets. Our reporter Claudia Otieno attended the breakfast meeting and filed the following report.
As the country gears up to the upcoming general election in August, leaders are up on their toes to disseminate their agenda to what is the best for Kenyans.
Kenya Kwanza perspective, we believe that the first step towards everything you have said here is how to capitalize the private sector. That's the whole essence, if you ask me what bottom-up is.
The Deputy President, who engaged with the Kenya Private Sector Alliance this morning, says their agenda as the Kenya Kwanza Alliance when they take office is to deploy more resources to the private sector in order to upscale growth.
You've heard us say the lowest hanging fruit is in the agricultural space and in the micro and small enterprise space. If we deploy resources, public resources that is, in that sector of the private sector, we will then not only get to increase their productivity and get a quicker return, but we will then create a market.
As a whole area, then we can do that. And increased adoption of research and development will result in diversification and value addition, leading to accelerated industry growth. Industry growth, due to the enhanced research and development adoption, will leapfrog economic expansion.
On the same note, the Deputy President believes that deploying of more resources is critical to boost SMEs, which have a direct contribution to the country's GDP. He assured the private sector that if elected, his government will build alliances with the sector to drive trade and growth.
Foster globally competitive business environment that addresses both the cost of starting a business and the growth of an enterprise. We do not want the same cycle of an SME starts, in 3 years, 5 years, it dies off. We want them to grow as enterprises. If you're a small business, you scale up. If you're a big business, you scale up. We want our own multinationals grown here. I always say every micro enterprise is the multinational, it's the Microsoft of tomorrow.
Discussing about having a limited resource base. How do you deploy the resources we have where we can get the highest return? Highest return in terms of creating jobs, highest return in terms of creating opportunity, highest return in terms of creating wealth, and highest return in terms of how we can move everybody to the next level.
See the partnerships we've got now together. It's the business community, the religious sector, the civil society, the media, the diplomatic community, the public sector at national and county level, and organized groups of women and youth coming together to say, let's all look at what it is.
The private sector believes that if innovations are cultivated, it will generate greatly to the economy.
If we spend a little budget, even just less than 1% in our research, in our R&D, we will discover what we have as this country. We will be able to use our own innovations. Young people are innovating every day. Instead of those innovations being based out in Delaware and everywhere else, if we could harness those innovations, then this country will transform.
The private sector is engaging all aspiring and other leaders to hear and understand the economic agenda for the sector if elected into office. For Metropole TV, I'm Claudia Otieno.